And welcome into Fantasy Baseball today. You are listening to this on Thursday, March 19th. Happy March Madness Day to all who celebrate. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White, and we have a special guest here to help us with our live 12-team Roto mock draft. Welcome to the show. First time ever, Sam Wirsching. What's going on, Sam?
How you guys doing? So great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm just living my best life in the Northwest, man. I got home from Tout Wars Monday at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and just still buzzing off my first trip to New York. It was such a good time. How are you guys doing tonight?
We are doing well, ready to draft. I will do a couple more intro-y type things here. But yeah, Sam he won't tell you this, but he is the nicest guy ever. We hung out multiple days this weekend for Tout Wars weekend, and it was his first time in New York, so we had to take him all around and show him all the different kind of pizza spots. I got him a Jamaican beef patty with cheese inside, and he loved it.
Oh my God. So good. They don't have those in the Seattle area ever. When you first talked about that last November, I was like, what on God's green earth are you talking about? And now I can't wait for another one. It was just so delicious. So
yes, and Sam is a contributor over at the Palazzo Podcast and Dynasty Guru. He is a game show host at First Pitch Arizona. I was actually his buzzer for Fantasy Feud. His in the flesh buzzer there.
So great.
Follow him on X at Fave Game Show Host, and you can follow him on Blue Sky at SamFBB1. I am going to pull up the draft board. Quick reminder, 12-team Roto mock draft, standard 5x5 categories. Batting average, runs, home runs, RBI, and steals. ERA, whip, strikeouts, wins, and saves. Standard Roto lineups, one of each infield position except for catcher. We have 2 of those. 1 corner, 1 middle, 5 outfielders, 1 utility bat, and then we have 9 pitcher spots. Scott is picking 3rd. I am 7th, and Sam is 11th. And just a heads up, Chris Towers not here. He's dealing with some real life things, not fantasy things that he's got going on right now. So we do send our best over to Chris. He'll be off the pod for the next couple of days. All right, Scott, I think we are good to fire this thing up. Let me pull up the draft board here. And
all right.
Here we are.
Here we go.
Scott, how are we doing tonight?
Doing fine. Doing good. I'm picking 3rd. I presume I'm getting Bobby Witt. Aaron Judge is the 1st off the board. Shohei Ohtani's 2nd off the board.
Wow, how did you predict that?
It's like I've been drafting for months now. And so I'm going to go Bobby Witt. And something I haven't had the opportunity to do yet. And I feel like the players I'm most interested in at the 2-3 turn, Trey Turner, Francisco Lindor, that probably takes them off the table. And we'll see what is available to me there. Yeah, I've just wondered what that would be like if you would feel a bit hamstrung because you filled your shortstop spot right at a point where a couple others are likely to go off the board in subsequent rounds.
It is something that I struggle with where, obviously we have a middle infield spot, but then filling it early, it kind of takes away some of that flexibility later on in the draft. So even though Lindor or Trey Turner might be your best player available at the 2-3 turn, it creates decision points there. The first 6 drafted here, pretty much the top 6 we see a lot in a Roto draft. It's Judge, Ohtani, Bobby Witt, Juan Soto, Jose Ramirez, and Ronald Acuna. We did not see Jose Ramirez fall at all in this draft. He's been dealing with that shoulder thing, but they kind of downplayed it. They said it's not really a big deal. Oh, I'm on the clock. I should probably make a pick.
Yeah.
You guys talk about these picks.
Well, this has become like the consensus top 6, at least in standard Roto. Sometimes you'll see Tarek Skubal sneak in there if somebody wants to go pitching heavy right away. But usually it's those 6 hitters. Frank, you ended up taking Kyle Tucker 7th, which is what I endorsed, though his ADP tends to be 5 spots lower than that for some reason. How do you feel about that, Sam?
I think that's perfectly fine. I'm actually looking that I missed out on Julio. I was hoping he was going to fall to 10 and really surprised that Skubal and Skeens are still on the board. I thought for sure there'd be a little bit more pitching drafted. And as such, I'm going to take my first share all year of Garrett Crochet.
Okay, because Skubal just went the pick before you, number 10, and you're taking Crochet at 11.
Yeah, I like skiing skills better than Crochet. I just think that Crochet is going to have a mammoth workload over him if he's healthy all year, and so I want those stats.
So I did wind up taking Kyle Tucker when I realized I had 10 seconds left to draft. So this is earlier than we're used to seeing in ADP and an NFBC drafts, but we've talked a lot about this all off season. The one thing, Sam, we're going to need you to do is just turn down the volume in your draft room if that's possible. But yes, Kyle Tucker, we are in on him as a top 10 pick in drafts this season. Ellie De La Cruz went next, then Julio Rodriguez, Tarek Skubal, Garrett Crochet went to Sam, and then Paul Skeens there at pick 12. We are into round 2. For those who are only listening to this podcast and not watching, you cannot see that Sam is wearing a Mariners jersey, but he is the biggest Mariners fan I know. That is why he wanted Julio Rodriguez. And maybe the reason he will select Cal Raleigh right now.
So I'm super tempted as a homer. I really feel,
Not just that he's a Mariner. The jersey you're wearing says Big Dumper on the back.
It's super obnoxious, kind of like me. I'm staring at Cal Raleigh, and I don't feel like I can pass on either Henderson or Carroll at this spot. But
for what it's worth, Raleigh is my top player available. So it wouldn't be, from my perspective, it wouldn't be an insane thing to do.
Yeah, Sam, just make the pick. I know who you want to take.
So I'm going a different way since I've been taking him all season, every chance I get. So I really like Corbin Carroll. I think that his injury concerns with his hand are overstated. I think he's going to have a really good season still this year. So,
well, we actually have some evidence of that because he just today here on Wednesday, he batted leadoff for the Diamondbacks, was playing DH, but he homered. And it was one of 2 batted balls over 105 miles per hour, which is a very good sign.
Nice.
And I think you're probably right. I mean, I probably need to move Corbin Carroll back ahead of Cal Raleigh just in light of that, just in light of second game back in the lineup, first time using his normal bat, in fact, because he was using the axe handle one in his first game back. And he hits 2 balls over 105 miles, also stole a base. So it doesn't seem like he's taking it easy out there. I think very encouraging game for Corbin Carroll here on Wednesday.
Agree.
Yes, we are into round 2 where Fernando Tatis went at pick 13, then Corbin Carroll, Gunnar Henderson, Cal Raleigh, the Big Dumper goes at 16, then Vlad Jr. I selected Jackson Chourio and Junior.
Caminero! Caminero!
Junior Caminero goes at pick 19. I had a decision there. I haven't been drafting Caminero much this offseason. I was tempted to take him over Jackson.
You should have.
Absolutely.
I like Chourio a lot. I am higher on Chourio than others. I realize that. I know his StatCast doesn't, wow anybody. I don't really care too much about that. The age to level production, the stuff that he has done to this point in his career, I think he goes 25-25 this year. Good batting average, good Brewers lineup. But Caminero looks so good in the WBC.
Yeah, I mean, Caminero tends to go earlier. He tends to go pretty much right at the start of round 2. A lot of it's third base scarcity, and we'll see if you end up struggling to fill that position. It is the thinnest position this year. But Chourio gives you an element of speed that Caminero doesn't, obviously. And I don't think the exit velocities are anything anybody should worry about at this point, because it was the same for his rookie season, and he followed up with nearly identical numbers.
All that talk, though, about Chourio, Caminero is just so delicious as a fantasy player. I'm so excited for his season this year. So I was curious. I'm glad you asked the question, why Chourio over Caminero? Because I think I would have gone the other way, especially for position scarcity and all that good stuff.
The one thing that stands out, Sam, with Caminero, and it's a slight concern, and it might turn out to be the dumbest concern that has ever existed for a player. But him going back into the trop, where some players have struggled to see the ball there with the lighting and everything, we just don't have a big sample of what Junior Caminero looks like in Tropicana Field. And so if I'm taking a player in the second round, I really just don't want to worry about anything with that player, and it just gives me ever slight concern over him. But again, it might be a dumb one. I don't know.
No, I think it's fair. You did bring up age to production for Chourio and Caminero.
Caminero, yeah.
I mean, 6 or 7.
Don't do that around Scott, because then you're going to open up a whole can of worms, and he's going to be doing it all night.
I think it's died down. Too many guys like me, too many old guys like me started to say it, and it lost its appeal. The kids have told me that kids still say it in class, but you could tell their heart isn't in it anymore when they do.
And I am outnumbered on this podcast because Sam is a dad, Scott is a dad. So they could just go full dad jokes all night long here, and I'm outnumbered. There's nothing I could do about it.
Dad power.
After Churio and Caminero, we did get Jazz Chisholm, Francisco Lindor, Nick Kurtz went to Scott, and then we got Trey Turner, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. We are into round 3 with Ketel Marte and Pete Alonso. So Scott, you are back up. You have Kurtz and Bobby Witt.
Yeah, so first time picking Bobby Witt, wasn't sure how that was going to go. Also first time picking Nick Kurtz, who I had been avoiding just because I like the next tier of third base or of first baseman. I like the next tier of first baseman so much. It's a deep tier. Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson in it. I decided to take Kurtz over Schwarber because Kurtz at least gives me some hope of batting average. Obviously hit for a good one as a rookie. People doubt his ability to repeat it because the strikeout rate was so high. Maybe the strikeout rate gets better. I don't know. He's nobody in professional baseball has been able to stop Nick Kurtz yet. But normally a high strikeout rate like that does concern me. I went ahead and took Kurtz though over Schwarber, and it turns out Schwarber made it to me in round 3. So I went ahead and took him here at 27 overall. I'm beginning Bobby Witt, Nick Kurtz, Kyle Schwarber. Feel really good about that. If Ketel Marte had lasted a couple more picks, he went at 25 first pick of round 3. If he had lasted to me at 27, I might have gone that route instead of Schwarber. It's hard to say. I like the thought of filling that weak position with an actual stud in round 3. Don't want to reach in round 2, but I do it in round 3. But Schwarber tends to go mid round 2, so I can't complain about the value here at 27 overall.
And how funny is this, Scott? In the last 2 Roto drafts that we have done live here on the channel, you and I had picked 3, and we started with the same exact team. Remember
Really?
last week during the mock draft mega stream, I had picked 3. I got Bobby Witt Jr. I took Kyle Schwarber in round 2, and then Nick Kurtz made it back to me in round 3.
That's funny.
How about that?
That's funny.
Hive mind going on with you two. Just, the big brains.
By the end of draft season, Sam, it's like all of our rankings and thoughts and sleepers and breakouts. It's just this one big mind meld.
Well, and I've done so many 15-team drafts. I'm really trying to be cognizant of having that heightened need to have more value at the beginning, that I really want to stick to ADP versus veering off as much.
At the start of drafts, you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, after around 8 or 10, it's all a crapshoot. People start going everywhere, but.
For those watching, you saw me react. I wanted Manny Machado here. Kind of boring veteran, but you get that third baseman. You don't have to worry about it the rest of the draft. But he goes 1 pick before me. I am debating a pitcher and a hitter here. Those are the only 2 types of players I can debate at my pick. And I will take Christopher Sanchez. And we'll see if I like the way this turns out, taking a pitcher in round 3. Usually I wait a little bit longer, but some helium on Christopher Sanchez. And he is my SP5. Happy to do it here in the middle of round 3. So
same. I was actually going to take him.
Nice.
I'm bummed.
Sam's an emotional drafter. I can tell.
Sam's an emotional person. I
mean, I can relate to having big reactions in draft, as the audience well knows. Scott White tilting is something everybody looks forward to.
That's a real thing, huh?
Yeah.
After Scott selected Kyle Schwarber, we got Yordan Alvarez. So we got the back-to-back util only guys there. Brian, Manny Machado. I selected Christopher Sanchez. Wyatt Langford up to 32 in this draft. Then Matt Olson and PCA. Pete Crow Armstrong. Sam, you are up.
Yeah, and I would never draft this player normally just because of my extreme dislike for his team and not wanting to root for a player that's going to make my competitors better. But I'm excited for him, and I think at that point I really need to take him. The home runs and the stolen bases, that high upside for both of them, I just wanted to capitalize on.
The pick was Zach Neto, by the way.
Yes.
And we got to tell people who
Sorry, Zach Neto with the Los Angeles Angels.
So that was the hitter that I was debating at my pick. So I guess either way, there was going to be some sniping going on there, but it was Sanchez or Neto for me. I had the two outfielders, so I wasn't looking at Pete Crow Armstrong yet. But yeah, Neto, little bit of a fall lately because he's been dealing with that hand injury, but believe he got back into a game last night. He went 0 for 3 in that one. So doesn't seem like a big deal. I think he's all right. And should give you that 25-25 home runs and steals this upcoming season.
I'm a little hesitant about the hand just because it's the same injury that cost him the final 2 weeks of last season. And so we're already seeing a recurrence before the next season even begins. That makes me a little nervous, but officially, yeah, it sounds like Neto is fine. We did see Pete Crow Armstrong go a pick ahead of him. I feel like the best scenario for both of them is pretty similar. And so it comes down to which do you consider the bigger risk, the hand or the poor plate discipline that afflicts Crow Armstrong, or positional need. That's the consideration as well. If you already have a shortstop, you might not be so keen on taking Neto in round 3. But they're both going to be a hindrance in batting average, but hopefully a lot of home runs and stolen bases. I feel like we've been seeing lately Pete Crow Armstrong, even in these standard Roto leagues, slide more to the end of round 3 when about a month ago he was going early in round 3. So I don't know if just it's become sort of the groupthink of him being thought of as a risky player, like people not liking some of the underlying characteristics there, the poor plate discipline especially, and just wanting to avoid him. I don't know, but it seems like late round 3 is more the normal range for Crow Armstrong.
I think that's the right spot.
After Sam selected Zach Neto, we got Bryce Harper, and then into round 4, Bryce Terang and James Wood. Sam, is James Wood someone you typically target, or is this just scooping up a little bit of a fall from where we usually see his ADP?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some value with that pick. I was surprised he fell that far. I want to see what he does this season after the season he had last year. But for this draft, I feel really good about taking him right there. It's a good value.
All right, catching people up on picks. We got Rafael Devers, Mookie Betts, Hunter Brown. I am back up. Not a lot of pitchers went since I took Christopher Sanchez, so not loving that so far. I've got Kyle Tucker, Jackson Churio, and Sanchez here, and taking a peek.
My take on pitchers. Unless I get one of the big 3, I'm not even looking at it till round 4.
Right. I probably should have done that. Could have had myself Zach Neto. Debating. Yeah, I mean, all these hitters seem a little bit high right here in round 4. I mean, do I double down on starting pitcher? Probably not going to like that either. So I've got some power and speed already. Get another outfielder. I don't want to fill up outfield too quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and take CJ Abrams. It's kind of an unsexy pick at pick 42, but 20 homers, 30 steals, a little bit higher than ADP. Lock in that shortstop. I mean, when it's all said and done, is he that different than Zach Neto? I think Neto's batting average will probably be a little bit higher and power will be better from him. But
yeah, definitely more power, I would say.
Yeah. But give me some more of those steals there with CJ Abrams. I like
him.
4th round. No one really kind of jumping off the
right. Not among the hitters.
Right. So I probably should have taken Neto in hindsight, and then would have been fine with any of these starting pitchers here. So after I selected Abrams, we got Freddie Freeman and Chris Sale and Logan Gilbert. Scott, you are back up. I know Freeman has been someone you often target, but you already have a first baseman.
I already have. Yeah, right. I have Kurtz, so I don't. This is normally the range where I would think about taking a first baseman, but not as interested in that. I'm going to go ahead and take a pitcher. I'm going to take Cole Reagans. I would have preferred to take Chris Sale, but he and Logan Gilbert went back-to-back right before my picks.
I like that Reagans pick a lot. I was debating him at my last pick, but I felt like having Wood there, I couldn't pass up the value. But I think Cole Reagans, opening day starter for Kansas City, he stays healthy all season. He's going to be a monster. So
Big if, but yeah, I know Frank is concerned about the injury risk. Look, there's plenty of injury risk for Chris Sale too, right?
Anybody who throws anybody who throws, man,
Yeah.
they're all injury risks.
That's pretty much how I feel about it. I mean, a year ago, we weren't thinking of Logan Gilbert as an injury risk. And then how many starts did he end up making? He missed some time. It wasn't
20?
a huge amount of time.
I think it was around 20 that he got.
Yeah.
But going into last season, Brian Wu nobody wanted Brian Wu. Everybody was worried about him. And he started the season with like 28 straight 6-inning starts. Like,
yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead and read off the picks, Frank, before I make my next one.
Yeah, so Scott selected Cole Reagans. Then we got Roman Anthony, Vinny P,
Baby.
Vinny Pasquantino. Little rise there on Vinny
Yeah.
P. WBC aided. We are into round 5 where we get Jacob deGrom, Brent Rooker, and Scott, you are back up.
Yeah. This is a tough one. I don't like taking 2 pitchers this early, but my top player is a pitcher. And I feel like the bats are kind of a reach. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pair Max Fried with Cole Reagans. I think that's a nice tandem because Reagan's a big strikeout guy. Fried, the one knock on him is his strikeouts aren't really up to ace standards. They're still fine by just relative pitcher standards, but not up to ace standards. Very reliable source of ERA, should get a ton of wins like he did last year. So yeah, I'll go Reagans and then Fried 4 and 5 and probably so right after I take Max Fried, Cody Bellinger goes. That was the hitter I would have taken. And it's one of those where like ADP, I know his ADP is around lower than this, but it never seems to work out that way when I'm drafting. I don't have an outfielder yet. And usually when I don't have an outfielder, Bellinger is my first outfielder. When I don't have an outfielder in round 5, Bellinger is my first outfielder, but it's not going to be the case in this draft, obviously.
All right, let's catch people up here on round 5. And after Jacob deGrom, we got Brent Rooker, Max Fried went to Scott, Cody Bellinger, Byron Buxton, and William Contreras. Sam, I apologize for what I'm about to do, but I need a first baseman. And Thicky Henderson, come on down, baby. Josh
dude, I love it. I love it.
Pick.
No offense to me, man. I love it. It's crazy to me how many Mariners are valuable offensively this season. How many of them first 100 picks, second 100 picks, third 100 picks, like you can draft them all over the place. So take them. I love it. And I am, a homer, but I'm over 15 steals for him this year. I don't think that what he did last year was a fluke.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll catch you up on the latest picks here on Fantasy Baseball Today.
This is why we do this every March.
Major slam! It is a basketball party. It's March! Expect the unexpected!
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball Today. We are doing a live 12-team Roto mock draft. After I selected Josh Naylor, we got Logan Webb and the speedster Austin Riley apparently looking to steal 20 bags this season. We'll see if that can actually happen. And Scott, I realize this is not ideal, but I do have to hop out for a few seconds. So I'm going to turn this over to you.
Oh.
You and Sam are you are on the board here talking.
All right, sure.
All
Hunter
right.
Goodman just went off the board right after Austin Riley. Hunter Goodman at 58, so he goes ahead of Ben Rice, which is actually how I rank him, but we don't see that very often. Ben Rice is kind of a hype guy. Sam, you're up with the 11th pick of round 5, and you take the first closer, Mason Miller.
Yeah, I'm real excited about him this year. I think you're going to get over 100 Ks, elite ratios, good save numbers. Like I've seen him go in the second round of TGFBI draft. So to get him this late is, I feel like I'm stealing candy from a baby.
It does make a big difference. TGFBI is 15-team Roto leagues. It does make a big difference 15 versus 12 because it's the same number of closers that have to be distributed among more teams in 15-teamers. So you see the elite ones get pushed
right
at least into round 3 for Mason Miller, sometimes even round 2, like you're saying. To me, that's always it feels like a major concession to have to address saves that early when there are still so many elite bats on the board. But yeah, it's this seems like a fine time to take him, even in a 12-team league. It's a good time to take him, 59th overall. Geraldo Perdomo is the following pick, rounds out round 5, 60th overall. And when I took Max Fried at 51, the hitters I was looking at was Cody Bellinger, Austin Riley, and Geraldo Perdomo. And just judging by where they normally go, I thought there was a good chance more than one of them would make it back to me. Turns out none of them do. So maybe I shouldn't have taken Fried. We'll see if that becomes a lingering regret in this draft.
All right. Well, I'm drafting the player that I have everywhere. I'm absolutely in love with him.
Michael Garcia.
Yes.
The world learns, not Michael.
Yeah,
So
Michael Garcia.
We're going to have to retrain our brains to say that. Should be easier. It should be easier, but we're used to saying Michael at this point. So Geraldo Perdomo rounded out round 5. Then it was Ben Rice to start round 6, just a few picks after Hunter Goodman went off the board. And then Michael Garcia to Sam, who meets the third base need. And what else do you like about Michael Garcia, Sam?
I've just been, I have a history playing Dynasty, so I've been watching him for a few years and just watching him continually progress. There's, I look at to see if the player has moments that are bigger than him, and he just seems to be the same person, whether or not he's ordering a taco or hitting a 3-run bomb. Like he just seems to have a passion and an excitement, and there's no fear, there's no hesitation. So I'm expecting even bigger things from him this year. I really like him a lot.
All right. After your Michael Garcia pick, Jackson Merrill goes off the board. Then Shea Langoliers, another catcher. We're getting a little bit of a catcher run here. Andres Munoz. So you kicked off the closers with Mason Miller. Sam, Andres Munoz is the second one off the board. Then George Kirby, Edwin Diaz, another closer. Got a couple runs going on here, catcher and closer. And we are closing in on my pick. By the way, Frank took George Kirby. So Frank still making picks. Out of sight, but not out of mind.
That's right.
Riley Green. And we're one pick away from my pick. Who am I going to take? I will tell you. It's probably going to be an outfielder. Because I haven't gotten one yet. And a couple of them are at the top of my my rank list here. Eugenio Suarez, the 69th pick. So that brings it into that third base tier for me. Included Michael Garcia and Austin Riley. And I have my choice from a couple different outfielders. I think the one I'm going to go with is someone you know well, Sam. Randy Arozarena.
Love it.
The reason I'm choosing him is because only one of my 3 hitters so far is any kind of base stealer. Bobby Witt, first pick. A good base stealer, but Nick Kurtz isn't. Kyle Schwarber isn't. Randy Arozarena is.
Yeah, no, and Randy's a little bit of a drain on the batting average, but you're going to get 4 solid categories every year. And fun. He's just fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, we got back-to-back Durans. That's fun, too. All right, so after I took Randy Arozarena, Freddie Peralta, and then the 2 Durans, Jarren Duran and Yohan Duran.
I love it.
And then Jesus Luzardo, who I was thinking about. Do I have? Let's see. What have I filled here? I do have a shortstop already, of course. I took Bobby Witt. Frank is back, but he's talking to nobody in particular because he's muted.
You are muted, sir. Sorry, I am back, and I will never leave you ever again. We are.
Thank you. I was panicking.
I was scared. I literally just trembling with fear.
So I did see, Sam, you selected Michael Garcia. That was a fantastic pick. That's who I was looking to take, but I went with back-to-back Mariners. So I got myself George Kirby, who I do like a lot as an SP2 this year. Scott, where do we leave off on the picks? We're into round 7.
I think we're caught up.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about Jesus Luzardo. I'm just trying to decide who to take here. I'm going to fill my second outfield spot. Not a bad idea. George Springer.
All right.
Who also give me a little bit of speed and hopefully everything else like he did last year. He's 36 years old, and it's natural to be skeptical of a career year from a 35-year-old. But I've looked in a little more to what he did last year to turn his career around, and it makes a lot of sense. You see it in the bat speed numbers, just swinging with more intent and rather than swinging defensively. I think the biggest concern for Springer is just staying healthy at his age. but I'm fine taking him round 7 as my second outfielder.
Agreed.
I don't know if you talked about this, Scott, but the first overall pick in this draft is George Kurtz at the 6-7 turn. He selected Jarren Duran and Yohan Duran. So
Yes.
we got Duran Duran.
Although I think I pronounced their names both Duran, which I probably shouldn't have done.
So is he naming his team Hungry Like the Wolf? Like, is that where this is going?
You don't have a choice. Sam, my next question was, what is your favorite Duran Duran song? Or Duran Duran, however you want to.
There's a number of them off the Rio album I really like. 7 in the Jagged Tiger or whatever that album was. I also like that one. Undone, though. I think my favorite Duran Duran song is Undone. Come Undone.
Gotcha.
Wasn't that song in Donnie Darko Notorious? Is that Duran Duran or is that somebody else? Yeah. Okay.
Good movie. Good movie. If you haven't seen it, Frank, have you seen Donnie Darko?
I can promise you, Frank has not seen Donnie Darko.
I know.
Is Adam Sandler in it, or
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
I actually do have. People are gonna find this ridiculous. The DVD for Donnie Darko, and I have never watched it.
You never watched it.
I have always wanted to watch it because I kind of like my movie palette is very weird. It's stupid comedies or really messed up, thoughtful movies. And so I
love Donnie Darko.
That's why I wanted to watch it. And I just didn't watch it. I don't know why.
The dictionary definition of how did you put it?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember how you put it, but however you described it, that is exactly what Donnie Darko's like.
Let's catch people up here on round 7. After Scott selected George Springer, we got Joe Ryan, Framber Valdez, Cade Smith. I took Agustin Ramirez, Michael Busch, Corey Seager, and then Kyle Bradish goes. And Sam, you are up. Let's take a little peek at your team, see what you got. And it's Michael Garcia, Zach Neto, Corbin Carroll, James Wood, Garrett Crochet, and the top closer off the board, Mason Miller.
So let's add one of my favorite. I haven't drafted him anywhere. He's never fallen to me, but I'm really excited for Tyler Soderstrom this year.
Well, tell us why.
I just think he's got a big breakout season coming in. He plays in a AAA park. He had a great season last year. He finished strong after struggling a little bit in the first half. And I think that the changes that he made were real. I'm excited to see what he's going to be doing.
All right. Tyler Soderstrom, Scott, I know you recently moved up. You just said you had him too low in the rankings.
I decided I did. I foresee a step forward for Soderstrom. I mean, you could argue he just had a breakout season, obviously went from not mattering in fantasy to very much mattering, but I think there's even more, another level he can achieve there with some of the batting average potential he put on display in the second half, combining it with the power from the first half. I think there's room for growth there for sure. And I like the way the Athletics lineup is shaping up. And especially for deeper Roto leagues, I like that Soderstrom is both first base and outfield eligible, because there's a good chance you're going to wind up stretched at one of those areas in a deep enough Roto league. And he gives you the flexibility to decide later on which it would be. I was not happy to see Bo Bichette go right after him at the end of round 7. I was hoping to get him as my eventual third base option.
All right.
Help in batting average, since I got some batting average liabilities already in round 8. Didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Yuri Perez getting taken off the board made it easy, because I was debating between Yuri Perez and this guy. I like the average. I like the steals. I think the counting stats are fine. And
yeah,
normally I wait on second base, but he was pretty attractive right there. So I just went ahead and took him.
I like it. I like that. It gives you some batting average, 25 to 30 steals. Power will be lower, so you got to make sure you have that power built in. But really good, solid Roto foundational piece there with Nico Horner. After he goes, Aroldis Chapman and Christian Yelich. I am one pick away. Remind people of my team. I have Agustin Ramirez, Josh Naylor, CJ Abrams, Kyle Tucker, Jackson Churio, George Kirby, Christopher Sanchez. While I was not paying attention, third base has kind of been depleted. So
yep,
that has happened to me in.
You would have taken Bo Bichette if I didn't, I'm sure.
That has happened to me in more drafts than I would like to admit.
Yeah,
third base just going quicker than I realized.
So how are we feeling about not taking Junior Caminero right now?
Caminero.
Yep, you got me, Tim. Take that. Yeah, might not be great, but man, Churrio's my guy too. So it's we'll figure it out. There's still a couple third base options I like. We'll see.
Yeah, there's some later options I've warmed up to. Maybe just by necessity, but
I will take a closer who I usually like to get one of the top 8-ish guys, and so I see that tier depleting, and I'll go with my homer pick. That is David Bednar. I know, has dealt with some ups and downs the past couple of years, especially 2 years ago. The control was just awful. Last year, gets sent down to the minors early in the season, but once he came back, he was just money, and especially once he went to the Yankees, he got even better. So just viewing him as a top 8 closer this year with, not real any concerns really about David Bednar.
Yeah, I feel like he turned a corner coming to the Yankees out of the Pittsburgh organization. He's going to be money for him this year. 35 save season incoming.
And I love that they still let him walk out to Renegade.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool too. After David Bednar, we get Jeremy Pena. So interesting round for some of the players who have been dealing with injuries. Seiya Suzuki, we know, has the sprained PCL and not quite sure if he'll be ready for opening day. But even if he isn't, I think it's probably like 10 to 15 days. I don't think he would miss that much time. He goes here at pick 89. And then Jeremy Pena at 91, who's dealing with that fractured finger. I did read earlier that he is planning to swing the bat with both hands this weekend and still thinks opening day is a possibility. So we'll see if that is the case for Jeremy Pena. And then Devin Williams is the next pickup there.
Pena's still going ahead of Story, even with the concerns over the finger. And Story goes now.
Story, yep.
Yeah. So I was going to have a tough decision if Devin Williams hadn't gone. I still don't have a closer. I don't like paying for closers, but that's a healthy drop there for Devin Williams of about 25, 30 spots. So I would have had to consider it. I'm going to take another guy who I don't love in theory, but he's fallen so much by ADP. And when he's good, he's very, very good. And that's Dylan Cease. The downside risk, last year, 4.55 ERA, 133 whip. That's not what you want from your third starter, no matter how many strikeouts he gives you. But the Blue Jays have done well maximizing outcomes of veteran pitchers, and Dylan Cease has this on-again, off-again pattern. Seems to do well in years where his BABIP runs lower and good defense is being played behind him. So I hope he has a bounce back. I think round 8 is not as much risk as if you draft Dylan Cease at face value.
All right, after Dylan Cease, we got O'Neal Cruz, Willy Adames. We are into round 9, where the first pick is Nolan McLean. And Chris Towers might not be here with us physically, but he is here in spirit because we can hear Sam's dogs in the background. And
I'm sorry you guys could hear that. I got 4 of them upstairs. I'm downstairs. There is a closed door. It's like that scene from A Christmas Story where the guy's like, "Those bumpus dogs!" Ah!
Have you seen that one, Frank?
I have seen bits and pieces of it, but like the little blonde kid, he just always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm like, wow, I don't need to watch it. No.
Frank, what happened to you as a child, man? That is a great movie.
I've seen all the other Christmas movies. I've seen, Home Alone. I've seen, I don't know, name a Christmas movie. I've seen a lot of Christmas movies, I swear.
You'll watch Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin, but you will not watch A Christmas Story with Ralphie. Come on.
Macaulay.
Yeah. No, it's not for me. I don't know why. Maybe I should watch it. I'll give it a try this year, but I've got to wait till then.
Okay. I'm
Nick
up again.
Goes. Scott, you're back up.
I'm gonna take Luke Keeschel.
Oh, nice pick.
Thank you. I really considered doing it in the previous one, reaching a little bit rather than taking the gift that was Dylan Cease at his cost. So I'm happy I still get Luke Keeschel. It was between him and Michael Harris, who I rank higher, who goes higher. This is I'm often accused of being a Braves homer with my fantasy takes. So allow this to be evidence to the contrary. I do not want Michael Harris in fantasy. I've never liked Michael Harris for fantasy, and I especially don't want him this year. Obviously, if the discount is great enough, I'll take him, but he's not what I'm looking for in a fantasy player.
All right. After Nick Pivetta, Scott selected Luke Keeschel, and we got Alex Bregman. Sam, how do you feel about Michael Harris?
I love Michael Harris as a player. I love watching him. The sound of the ball coming off of his bat is just chef's kiss. And I'm with Scott. Like, there's so much inconsistency. There's so much static in that. You don't know if you're getting signal or noise when you're watching him for a couple weeks, because he can either be an MVP for 3 straight weeks or he can not get a hit for 3 straight weeks. And so and I'm glad that you recognize the Atlanta bias. I am struggling. I still love my Mariners.
Oh,
and so
I deny the Atlanta bias is the thing, but I'm often accused of it.
Oh, I'm accused of it, and I'm guilty as charged for the Mariners.
Yeah.
Well, lots of talk about Michael Harris. And
You gonna take him, Frank? Gonna do it?
I've got 2 outfielders. I have a nice little theme going on here with just like power and speed up and down the lineup here. Maybe could use a little bit more batting average. No, it's probably okay.
That's the thing. Like, if we could count on Michael Harris for batting average like his first 2 years, okay, I'll take him in round 9. The problem was that he was being drafted in like round 3. Then when he was 280, 290 guy, I'll take him in round 3.
Yeah.
So to me, he's always just valued a couple rounds higher than my expectations for him, and it's. After the year he just had, good second half, but terrible first half, and the walk rate was historically low, which, maybe he can get that up a little. But if you're that much of a free swinger, you're kind of a sitting duck for major league pitchers, and I think that's what we saw from Harris last year. I'm not without hope in him regaining batting average, but it's entirely speculative at this point.
Well, like you said, I mean, at this point, his ADP is around 100. It's a much more fair price than it has been any other year since he got called up. Obviously, the year he got called up, he was picked up as a free agent. But every year since then, he's been like a round 3 to 5 pick. Now we're getting him in round 9, around pick 100. So the price is, suppressed compared to where it has been. So I went ahead and took Michael Harris here in round 9 as my third outfielder. To go along with Kyle Tucker and Jackson Trio. And yeah, it's going to be probably an annoying ride, but usually the numbers get there. 2020 season, he had 86 RBI last year. So I'll take that in round 9. After Harris, we get Will Smith, the catcher. Probably don't need to say catcher anymore, but we'll just say it. Then Ozzie Albies, Drake Baldwin, and Sam, you are back up.
I am in on the Kansas City Royals this year to win the AL Central. I think that squad is just incredibly underrated. There's not any big front runners in that division. I mean, Cleveland and Detroit are pretty good, but I'm all in on Kansas City this year, and I think Sal Perez is going to have another one of those. At least for the Kansas City Royals, he'll be considered an MVP for that team.
Definitely interested in seeing how big of an impact the change in dimensions has on their hitters, especially, but also their pitchers, because it's not like they have a bunch of bat missers in that rotation. I think that's. I think you and I, Frank, picked the Royals to win the division last year. Obviously, it didn't happen. We may have been a year ahead on that, but I think the Guardians are on the way down. The Tigers are on the way up, so I think that'll be. That's going to be the matchup at the top of the AL Central is Royals and Tigers, but I could see things going well for the Royals. They have a lot of interesting young hitters or even old hitters like Salvador Perez that that lineup may look a lot better just by virtue of them changing the dimensions like they did.
Look, everyone's in on Caglione this year. A lot of people like Salvador Perez, and obviously they have Bobby Witt and Vinny P. Like, their lineup is formidable, and even someone like Isaac Collins, Scott, you and I like him as a deep sleeper, so maybe he could contribut something as well. I mean,
I'm not over Jonathan India yet either.
It comes down to whether or not, like,
I guess Sam is.
I've been off for a couple of years, so
yeah. It comes down to whether or not those pitchers could stay healthy. But man, if Cole Reagans gives them like 160 plus this year, I mean, they should be flirting at the top of that AL Central division. Sam, you are back up. What are we thinking here in round 10?
So I think I'm going to take a pitcher, and I'm really trying to debate between high floor and high shine. Who's the one that I think is just going to be amazing, and who's the one that I think that's got the highest floor. I think I want to buy floor at this value. And so I'm going to take Kevin Gossman from Toronto. I think he's just going to be an innings eater. He'll strike out close to 9 an inning or 1 an inning, nine every 9 innings. He'll have decent ratios. So
that's your second starting pitcher to go with Garrett Crochet, who you took in round 1, which makes sense. I mean, you're drafting a pitcher that early. You're going to wait a while to take your second, but you also have Mason Miller, the top closer.
Brutal run here of pitchers, man. I was debating taking Lodolo at my last pick. I thought it was too early. Turns out it was not too early. Nick Lodolo goes there at the turn, and then we get Gausman, Cam Schlittler, Luis Robert, Joe Adell. So another one where kind of wish I went with that SP3, but I've got Sanchez and I've got George Kirby. Feel good about that, and I am up. Let's see.
If you sort by my rankings in the draft room, it's like all pitchers. So now's a good time to take a pitcher.
Yep. I do wish it was one of Lodolo or Schlittler, though.
I like Lodolo too.
Yeah. I know we just spoke about him last night, Scott, and I know that you have been a little bit scared by him, so has Chris, but I'm going to take Emmett Sheehan, man. I trust the talent here, and with everything that's gone on with the Dodgers rotation in the past, and yes, Glasnow's healthy for now, but extensive injury history. Blake Snell is already hurt. Roki Sasaki has been a mess all of spring training. They did just say today he's still in the rotation. They kind of have that luxury to wait and see what Sasaki could do. Like, the Dodgers are going to win 100 games with their eyes closed this year, so it doesn't really matter. But I just view Emmett Sheehan as a lock, one of their guys steady in the rotation all season. I could be wrong about that, but I'm just buying the talent here as my SP3.
I hope you're right. He is part of a trio of starting pitchers where if you go back and look at the sleepers, breakouts, stuff I was writing early on, prominent part of it, love the skill set for Sheehan. The other two, Chase Burns, Trey Savage. I think if I trusted their teams to just put them in the rotation and let them go, they'd be Cy Young contenders potentially. But I don't trust their teams, those three specifically. And Sheehan probably the least, just because of the way the Dodgers have always, or at least in recent years, have handled their pitching staff. But Emmett Sheehan, Chase Burns, and Trey Savage, all three have been moving down my rankings. It's just a usage thing, how much I trust that.
After I selected Sheehan, we got Raisel Iglesias, Teoscar Hernandez, Xavier Edwards. Scott, you have 20 seconds to pick.
I was going to take Raisel Iglesias. Obviously, I can't do that. I'm going to take Jeff Hoffman. It feels a little bit reachy, but I don't have saves yet. And I do like Hoffman. I like him more than the consensus. I think he's going to bounce back. He was a dominant reliever with the Phillies, had some home run issues last year, but he changed his pitch selection. I think that was a big part of it, and he's acknowledged it. He wants to throw more sliders like he was doing in Philadelphia. I think it's going to go well. He still missed tons of bats for all the home runs he gave up last year as Blue Jays closer.
Strider and Trout just went back to back.
Yep.
It's 2023, Colin.
Yeah. Well, 2019 for Trout. It's been a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that was at the 10-11 turn. We're into round 11 here where Jacob Misiorowski, the Miz, who, again, I don't have his sound drop loaded up. I've got to get that on track, Frank. Come on.
Nobody beats the Miz. Was that a good one for you? Did that help?
I usually go with like the wrestling one. I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome.
I don't know what to do here.
Who are you taking, Scott?
I don't know.
We're getting the Scott White tilt, round 11.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Even though I was just talking about how concerned I am, I'm going to go ahead and take Chase Burns.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take him. Hope
He's fallen far enough.
Yeah, well, it is a little below ADP, about 10 spots below ADP. And part of it's I have 3 pitchers already, so it's kind of gravy, whatever he gives me. Mm-hmm. And it could be a lot that he gives me. I just think it's going to be a slow build up to that. His last couple spring starts were 2 innings. They have 6 guys for 5 rotation spots, which suggests there's going to be a piggyback situation early on. But Burns' strikeout upside is astounding. I'm going to call it astounding.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went ahead and took him.
All right.
Especially if his arm stays attached this season.
I mean, it'd be a first if it didn't. But But yeah, he did have a shoulder thing for a stretch last year, right? It was shoulder. I think it was shoulder.
Oh,
Or was it elbow?
Chase Burns?
Yeah.
It was like a flexor thing, I think, with the
elbow. Yeah.
This is probably a little bit earlier than he usually goes, but I'm going to take Taylor Ward. I feel like my team needs some power. Just looking up and down here, I've already got 4 outfielders. That feels like a lot. We're only in round 11. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But catching people up on picks after Scott selected Chase Burns. Sal Stewart, man, my boy, 124. That is... I guess I was just I was not going to get him. I have him like around 160 range. So there goes that. But I think he hit another home run yesterday or today. He's had a great spring. After Sal Stewart, Daniel Palencia, Dansby Swanson. I took Taylor Ward, Pete Fairbanks, Jacob Marcy.
Oh, I wanted Jacob Marcy to fall to me. I didn't think he was gonna, but
all right. And
do you need steals at this point, Sam?
Between Garcia, Neto, and Horner, I don't think so.
No, probably
Corbin Carroll. Yeah, I just like him. I think he's gonna hit for more power than he did last year.
Okay.
I don't.
Yandy Diaz was the last pick there. Jacob Marcy, by the way, one of the years that we went out to the Arizona Fall League, Sam, he won the league MVP. He was just raking out there.
He's fun to watch. He's just a fun player.
Yep.
I think I'm going to add to my outfield again, and I'm going to go with Pages.
All right. Talk to us about Andy Pages, because he's a player that usually all three of Scott, Chris, and myself, we just find ourselves passing on him over and over. So what do you like about Andy Pages here?
A couple of years ago when he was on my radar for Dynasty, it was mostly because he was a Dodger prospect and they seem to be a lot smarter about baseball than me. And he's just continued to get playing time as a young player in that organization where they're not afraid to bring in money. They're not afraid to bring in outside voices. And so the fact that they've just let him continue to run, I have a lot of faith in him. And I think he's going to actually take a small step forward this year. So I'm expecting good things from him.
All right. So a small step forward, what would that look like? 30 homers, 15 steals, potentially?
Yeah, I mean, that's high end. I'd settle for 25 and 10. Okay. But I'll take 35 and 15, 35 and 20. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Ivan Herrera goes here at pick 132. He had been falling in ADP recently, but does not fall in this draft. He was dealing with the knee injury, and
he started a catcher here on Wednesday.
Yes, I was just about to pull that up and see what he did there.
0 for 2.
Was supposed to play 3 innings in that game as a catcher, which he did. So that's good news. Ivan Herrera back in the lineup. Util only on CBS to start the year, but we're hoping he gains that catcher eligibility with 5 starts sooner rather than later. Then Josh Hader, the first pick of round 12. He is dealing with the biceps injury. He will start the season on the IL. Hopefully not long-term for him either. And Sam, we are back to you in round 12.
So I felt like I needed some more power. Brandon Lowe is going to get an opportunity at Pittsburgh. And I really do hope that he hits the 30 home runs he's projected for.
Mm-hmm.
If he stays healthy, he always paces for 30 home runs.
He got to 30 last year.
And he got to 30 last year because he stayed pretty healthy.
That's why I said I hope.
Yeah. I think he's perennially underrated, though. So this is closer to where I rank him, where you took him.
Ooh, well, there goes a bunch of third base options for later in the draft. They are no longer here. Matt Chapman and Kazuma Okamoto, who I should point out went to Tim McLeod, who is a great analyst and a great prospect analyst. He also covers a lot of the players that come over from Japan and Korea. And if Tim McLeod is taking Kazuma Okamoto at 137th overall, that should tell you something. That should tell you that he is expecting big things from Okamoto this upcoming season, much like we are. So nice to kind of have that reinforced bias there on Kazuma Okamoto. I got him in Tout Wars this weekend, Sam, so I'm hoping he's good.
All right, let's go.
Yes. Sam was competing in the Tout head-to-head points auction along with Chris this weekend. That was your first time in it. How did it go, Sam?
Oh my God. It was was a great experience to have, getting to be in New York. It wasn't like you go into the room and all these players are chalk, like they're all really good. But it was fun. Like I didn't feel intimidated. It was just a really relaxed morning of drafting, as far as an auction draft can be relaxed. I drafted next to Ariel Cohen, who's got a huge 3-monitor setup and does his things, but that guy's team was just so well put together. He is so sharp. And so I felt like I learned a lot with my first draft. And I literally can't wait for it to be March next year. Like I really want to do it again.
Is he like pushing a cart around? How does he get 3 monitors in there?
I don't ask. That man is a genius.
Yeah, you said you weren't intimidated, but the next question was, well, you were drafted right next to Ariel Cohen. So he must be yelling out his prices and all different kinds of voices and cadences and all kinds of fun stuff.
He's totally like the pitcher that's just messing with everything on the mound. Like he's messing up the timing. He's messing up the delivery.
He's Johnny Cueto. He's the Johnny Cueto of auctioning.
100%.
Let's catch people up. After you selected Brandon Lau, we got Lawrence Butler, Matt Chapman, Kazuma Okamoto. I selected Ryan Pepio. Pep Boys for life. Trevor Rogers, Sandy Alcantara. Sandy.
Tell me about it, Stud.
And then
love Sandy.
Adley Rutschman goes, and Scott, you are back up in round 12.
Rutschman was on the radar. I still don't have a catcher yet. I'm not panicked about it. There are several more I like. But I think I need to address the saves need even more, since I only have Jeff Hoffman to this point. So I'm taking Emilio Pagan, who is the last in a tier for me. The same tier as Hoffman. What did you say?
I said I love him this year. If this was a different league, I would have drafted a second catcher already, and he was on my list.
Rutschman, you mean?
Pagan as a reliever. I say catcher. Yeah. Apologies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, because I think most of us are wary of Pagan. Obviously had a great year last year, but he is, looking through his career, his ERA has tended to run over 4 because he's so homer prone. And obviously he's in a prolific home run ballpark. So what makes you love Pagan?
What I saw last year, relievers, it's small sample sizes each year, so you can have bigger variance year to year with the relievers. But the fact that he was able to do it in Cincinnati last year and really lock it down, Cincinnati hasn't had somebody in years that kind of took ownership of that role. It always seems like they've got 3 or 4 relievers that are coming through. I think he's going to close all year for him. And if, ratios are important, Ks are important, he's going to get you Ks and saves. Ratios, I agree with you. There's a little bit there, but when you were talking about he's the last in a tier, he's that last of that top 15 closers that I'm like, okay, I've got 2 top closers instead of 1 in the top 15, 1 in the second 15. Again, that 15 team mindset that I'm always stuck in.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Tito Francona is his manager too. It's kind of that old school. He's going to ride with his guy. And he did all of last season with Pagan, and they brought him back in free agency. So in that second tier, I mentioned yesterday, I moved Palencia to the top of that tier. But if I miss out on the other names, or even if I want a second, I'm totally fine with Pagan where he goes. So I'm good with it too.
Yeah,
I like him more than Estevez.
It's a big drop off after he went off the board, because I think Kenley Jansen's still out there, but you get into like that Dennis Santana group of closers. Sir Anthony Dominguez, who I like a lot because he tends to go even later, but that's the caliber of closer that still remains.
All right, I have a decision. You just said a name, and I was trying to shush you so that you wouldn't keep talking about him. Should I select that player? There was Addison Barger, Yainer Diaz, Jonathan Aranda went to Scott, Trevor McGill, Zach Wheeler, Gavin Williams. I'm actually not. I'm going to do something I haven't done all draft season, and I'm going to buy the spring hype.
Oh, boy.
I need a second baseman.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
taking Matt McClain, who just had another 3-hit game. Like, the guy just keeps having 3-hit games. Look, he's hitting like 570. He's made changes this offseason. He's got the longer bat. He's consciously trying to get 2 pitches on the outer part of the zone. I don't, obviously, like, this is not going to last. We all know that. but can he have his best season yet as a young second baseman who had a lot of prospect pedigree? Yeah, I think that's possible. And so like a 2020 250 outcome, I think that's doable.
Yeah. I don't know that would be his best season yet, because you look back at that 2023 rookie season, 290 with an 864 OPS, obviously just 89 games, but was pacing for even better totals than that. No, I think the stat line you lay out is a reasonable expectation. I might even give him 260, 265 if he can overcome the issue he had against sliders low and away last year. That's been the talk this spring. He's made adjustments to address that.
Closers.
They're all going.
They're all just going.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine taking McLean here. A little bit of a risk, but you can understand with the kind of spring he's had and the history of that big 2023 season.
Yeah.
So here in round 13, we saw Trevor McGill, Kenley Jansen did go, and then Ryan Walker. So we do have 3 closers here in round 13. And Sam, we are back over to you.
Yeah, I got my player queued up. I'm nervous about Matt McLean this year. His March numbers are awesome and not a single game count. So I hope he continues that in April. I already said it once. I'm big on a number of these players, and I really like Chris Bubic to have a great season. I think my pitching is just coming in sharp.
Love that. I mean, he's a player we've been talking up all off season as well. We love Chris Bubic here. When he pitched last season, he was basically an SP2, but he obviously had the shoulder injury, which, is definitely a risk factor. I get that, but he has pitched this spring. Velocity has been fine. He's looked like himself. So we love that pick, Scott. And his ADP remains fake, Scott.
It's fake. I don't believe it.
But he always goes like 150 in the drafts we do.
Sometimes even 120, 130. He gets drafted 80 spots ahead of ADP. Okay, well, it's hard for me to be as in love with Bubic if somebody's going to do that. All right, I think 150s.
Somebody heard me talking about Kansas City, had to take Jack Caglione.
Well, see, that's where I thought Frank was. It was almost, we almost had a redux of the mock draft mega stream debacle, because you talked about drafting a hype guy here. I thought you meant Caglione again. And you meant Matt McLean.
Sam, I don't know if you saw that clip that we put out, but we were drafting an NFBC team together last week. Me, Scott, and Chris. 3 people on one team. It's tough trying to decide on a player.
You guys are monsters.
We're all saying like, yeah, let's take the hype guy. Let's take the hype guy. And then with 3 seconds left, Scott says,
I brought it up. Scott
says, take Cags. And me and Chris are like, oh no, we thought you meant Connor Griffin.
So we got Connor Griffin.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Down to the last second, literally.
Yeah. And you know what? This is a good time for Cag, Scott, but I already have the 4 outfielders. So I didn't want to fill up my full outfield, and I need the second base.
I didn't know that. Look at you.
Yeah.
It's hard to get 4 outfielders this far, and you must be suffering somewhere else.
I didn't have a second baseman. I don't have a third baseman. So maybe Caminero did make some sense early on. We are into round 14.
Yeah, because you took an outfielder, Churio.
Yes. Round 14, we have Brian Reynolds, Stephen Kwan went to Sam, and then Cedon Rafaela. Sam, Stephen Kwan is a player I haven't really heard talked about much this offseason, but he played basically the final 4 months of last season with a wrist injury that really kind of messed up his season. But the first 2 months, he was outstanding. So if he's fully healthy, I could see kind of like that bounce back season from Stephen Kwan this year.
Yeah, I think he is healthy. And I love his floor. I think he's going to have a small amount of pop. He's going to steal bases. He's going to hit for average. And Cleveland doesn't have a terrible lineup, at least in the top half. And so I expect him to get some decent counting stats, at least some runs scored.
All right. Third base is dwindling a little bit. And I know his spring has been pretty bad. He has been running a little bit, but somebody I still do like this year. I know everyone's been burned at least once. If you haven't been burned by Royce Lewis, are you even playing fantasy correctly? So I will take him here in round 14. I haven't. I'm one of the people who hasn't been burned by him in the past. So I'm happy to buy in now when the price is at its lowest since we've been drafting him in previous years. So he's been running a little bit this spring. He ran a lot down the stretch last year. I still think there's a lot of talent with Royce Lewis, and I needed a third baseman. So kind of needed to fill that position. After I selected Royce Lewis, Bryson Stott, Isak Paredes at 164. Scott, the NFBC ADP over the past week, it is a farce. It is not real. People here still buying Isak Paredes.
Yeah, and this 164, that's about where I rank him. He was my ace in the hole at third base.
You don't have a third baseman either?
I don't have a third baseman either. It's not hard to do. Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know.
What are you guys doing?
I don't know what I want to do.
We're talking to you, Sam, about like Duran and stuff like that.
That's right. Hungry like the wolf.
Willie Abreu was the next pick. Perhaps some WBC helium there as well.
Should I just go for it?
100%. You should.
Should I just go for it?
Do it.
I don't think Connor Griffin is going to make the team.
Honestly, I was debating doing it this round as well.
And we just talked about him and nobody took him,
right,
which tells me that everyone else is feeling the same way. It is about 20 spots below his ADP over the last week. JJ Weatherholt is already gone.
Yep.
And, we haven't often seen Weatherholt go before Griffin, but it happened in this draft. So I went ahead and took Griffin. And I think it's a little easier to stomach the possibility of him not making the team in a 12-teamer like this rather than a 15-teamer, because the theoretical bench I'm going to build, we're only drafting starting lineups here, but in theory, I could probably get a decent enough middle infield fill-in on my bench there while I'm waiting for Griffin. And there's still a chance he makes the team. Obviously, he hasn't been sit down yet.
There's a bunch of middle infielders after pick 200 that I'm just in love with. So it's real easy to fill that up at the end of your draft.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm going for it, taking a shot on upside, even as the bloom is off the rose a little bit. And maybe unfairly.
I'm not really sure what to make of Connor Griffin's spring, because so far he's hitting 194, but he has the 4 home runs. He's hit some balls extremely hard. The approach has looked pretty good. It's 2 walks to 10 strikeouts. It's still an 849 OPS. I know there have been some batted balls that he's hit really hard that just did not result in hits, which can happen to anybody. But Sam, what have you made of Connor Griffin's spring so far? Do you think he is up on opening day?
I think that with all the conversation that's going on, it's really difficult to get a good read on it. And so I don't have a strong opinion. I'm going to wait to see what they do with him, because 3 weeks ago, it was a guarantee that he was going to be in that opening day roster. He was going to be playing. And today we're now having this conversation about what are they really doing with it. He's somebody that I'm avoiding in drafts because I don't get a good read on it.
Got it. Catching people up in round 14 after Scott selected Connor Griffin, we got Nathan Eovaldi, Dalton Varsho. So he's rising up draft boards, having a big spring. Then into round 15, Brandon Woodruff, Alec Burleson. Scott, you selected Ian Happ. Would that have been the pick if Dalton Varsho was still there?
Probably. I do rank Happ ahead. But it cemented me taking Happ now, because it's like, I can't fall back on Varsho, who I think has more upside. I think he could be in for a huge power season based on the exit velocity jump we saw in a partial season last year. But Happ is a nice stabilizer. You just never have to worry about him. He's going to help in the counting stats, runs an RBI a lot. Looks like the guy after me got autoed. Hopefully he's okay. Took Trey Yesavage. It's a fine time to take Yesavage.
Yep.
So maybe that was legit, hopefully. But getting back to Ian Happ. So my last few picks, Ian Happ, Connor Griffin, and what was the other one? I guess it was just those 2. So I want to go back a couple rounds to my Jonathan Aranda pick, because I didn't have a chance to comment on that. In these Roto leagues, with a corner infield spot, that is one position that I tend to get left in the dust at, just corner infield. And also batting average. I'm looking at my team, other than Bobby Witt at the start of the draft and Luke Keeschel later on. I think I got a lot of batting average liability here. So I wanted to solidify batting average. I wanted to solidify corner infield. And I think taking a Rondo where I did, which was about 40 picks early by ADP, it's my biggest reach of the draft so far. But I think it freed me up to take the chance on Griffin and then to take Happ, who batting average is the one thing you don't expect him to help much in.
All right. After Ian Happ, we got Trey Savage, Colson Montgomery, Bubba Chandler. So we saw a really big fall for Bubba Chandler here at 174. That feels like a good value. I was getting ready to take him, but he went one pick before me.
I like who you took, Frank.
Shota Imanaga, the velocity remains up. He got a bunch of strikeouts on Tuesday night.
He
looking
didn't
good.
just get a bunch of strikeouts. He had 25 swinging strikes on 73 pitches. Wow. I believe it was a 53% whiff rate overall, not on any individual pitch, overall in that game, with the extra 1.5, 2.5 miles per hour velocity on everything. It was against the Angels, a very strikeout prone team. Yep. People like to nitpick when I am marveling at a performance like that, but you haven't seen every pitcher against the Angels getting 25 swinging strikes in a game like that. Very impressive what Imanaga's doing this spring. And we know he's a great source of whip.
Yep.
So I was tempted to take him myself. I've gone, it's been a pretty pitching heavy draft for me, but I'm getting really fired up about Shota Imanaga this year.
And he joins a pitching staff where I also had George Kirby. So I think the whip is going to be pretty good on my end there. After Imanaga, Cade Horton, who had a big strikeout start recently as well. Lots of whiffs in that one. Then Michael King, Jacob Wilson. Sam, you selected Francisco Alvarez. What are you expecting there?
I'm expecting him to have a phenomenal season catching for the Mets this year. I think he's going to hit 25 home runs. He's going to have a solid average. You know, he's not a source of stolen bases, but I think in that lineup, he's going to be great for counting stats. I'm excited about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know last year he was dealing with a thumb injury, and once he also struggled, got sent down to the minors, but once he returned from the minors, it was guns blazing. I mean, he was amazing for that.
He was a man on fire for sure.
Yeah, that final 2-month stretch. So really hoping that Alvarez figured something out and he's back to the form we saw when he was a rookie, when he had like the 25 home runs or whatever it was. The talent is still there. He's dealt with a lot of injuries and like weird kind of approach changes over the past couple of years. So I am hopeful that we get a big season out of Alvarez as well. And then Mackenzie Gore goes at pick 180 to finish out round 15. The problem I'm running into here is like all the pitchers left are still super interesting. I just want to keep drafting pitchers, man. It's just, and this is what you keep telling us, Scott, is like, man, I took Christopher Sanchez in round 3, but it's like, gosh,
I mean, I've been having the same problem. Like I said, this has been an unusually pitcher heavy draft for me, with me having Cole Reagans, Max Fried, Dylan Cease, and I also added Chase Burns for good measure. And I'm with you. It's like, I really wanted to take Imanaga with my last pick, but I just feel like I need to keep pursuing hitting at this point.
I can't pass on this pick. Like I love Ranger Suarez, Ron Hare Suarez. Sorry, I know we pronounce his name differently, but I love the floor that he provides. I think being in Boston, he's going to be solid. He's not an elite pitcher. You know, we saw that season a few years ago where he had that elite run of 11 starts against the perfectly put together, the perfectly manicured ending to the season. But I can't believe he fell. I was looking at him at the last turn. So
he's a good high floor option, man. Ranger Suarez. He's good ERA. The whip will run a little high. It's like 120-ish, but good ERA, keeps him in games. Red Sox, good run support there as well. I'm interested to see how he does in the AL East, but like he just came from the NL East where he faced a bunch of good teams too, right? It's like he was always facing the Braves and the Mets lineup. Obviously, they were really good as well. So
Tatsuya Imai just went
Philly. Yep. That was the other player I really liked. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in Houston. They're a pitching development organization that they just seem to do wonders with anybody that they throw up there. They have so many off-name players that just break out.
And this was like 20 spots below ADP, or 25 for Imai, which is I was going to have a hard time foregoing him if he made it to me. But I think there's another need I have to address as long as it doesn't get messed up in the next 4 picks. We'll see.
All right. I just saw a name that I wanted to select, and here it is. It's Griffin Jax as my second closer. We'll see if Tampa Bay always, they play their games, but
Closer.
Griffin Jax is really, really, yes, the doctor.
With the air quotes, closer. Yeah.
Okay. But
You have seen that one, huh?
I have.
Yeah.
Stupid comedy, Scott. Of course, I've seen every Austin Powers movie. You know that. Griffin Jacks, great ratios. I think he'll probably give you at least 20 saves this year. I'm probably not expecting much more than that, but on the Rays, I expect good things there from Jacks. Breakout season for Griffin Jacks. So, but there was a huge pitching run here. There was Suarez went, and Sonny Gray, Robbie Ray, Tatsuya Imai. So a lot of those names I was talking about where, I just want to keep drafting pitchers. A lot of them just went. So.
Yeah, so I guess you don't want to draft pitchers anymore. Suddenly the top of my queue is all hitters. Or not queue, but my rankings in the draft room. It is nice to just have your rankings in the draft room. I know that is not something most people can relate to have them already sitting in there just to reference. And yet I still print out a sheet every draft and cross off names. So
as an old person, as the other dad on this podcast, I really appreciate that you have paper and pencil.
It's the only way to go as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. After I selected Griffin Jacks, Drew Rasmussen, back-to-back Rays there. I was getting a request in the chat to pull up some kind of draft board. This is the draft board, folks. I'm sorry. This is what we've got. You can see all the draft results on the side. They pop up in the chat too. But
I just got sniped.
Pull up a roster grid, but I don't think that really helps anybody.
I got sniped. They sniped me, Frank.
Wow.
Helping anybody? Dalen Lyle. That's a snipe pick.
Yeah,
huh?
I like him.
I needed some batting average. I think he's going to be a good source for that.
Yeah, should be.
But I also need a catcher. I don't have any yet, and the two people after me, 3 of their 4 catcher spots are vacant still. So I better take one. Samuel Basayo. Carter Jensen, one of the players I love, is already gone. He went at the 15-16 turn. Samuel Basayo, I think, is probably even better. So I better take him while I can.
All right,
you guys are in on him?
Absolutely.
Basayo. What do you think, Sam?
I like Alvarez more than Basayo, but I think Basayo is pretty legit. And I think the fact that they're giving him catching time with Adley Rutschman already there, even in spite of his struggles, speaks highly of his bat.
Yeah, I mean, the bat is just tremendous with Basayo. It wouldn't surprise me if within the next 3 years, he's a top 3 or maybe the top catcher in fantasy. Just his ability to hit the ball hard and make a lot of contact and power and batting average. I'm not sure how much he gets to that this season, but I think long-term, he's going to be a pretty tremendous hitter there. That is Samuel Basayo. After he goes, we get Jackson Holiday at 191. So we are expecting him to start on the IL, hopefully back sometime early to mid-April. Austin Wells, and then into round 17, we have Matthew Boyd and Dennis Santana. Good pick there on Boyd. We've been talking a lot about him lately.
Yep.
And Scott, you doubled down on the
double down, taking Gabriel Moreno. It seemed like a no-brainer. He's somebody who might help in batting average, which is, I think, my category of greatest need right now. And what's interesting, not only is he the last in a tier for me, but 2 in the following tier. Alejandro Kirk and Austin Wells have already gone. So if I didn't take Gabriel Moreno, it was basically JT Realmuto or bust for that second catcher spot. Obviously, if Realmuto went, I would have just had to settle for some scrub, but I didn't want to have to settle for a scrub. I imagine Kirk and especially Wells got pushed ahead of Moreno because of that knee issue he's been dealing with recently. But all the latest reports say he should be ready for opening day, so I'm not terribly concerned about that.
And it's a nice double dip right there on that wheel. You got both your catchers filled. It's a deep position, but you're not picking that, Edgar Cuero catcher, who I like in a 15-team league, but
yeah, it's scrubby by comparison.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize how many catchers have gone. I don't have a second catcher yet, so probably should have been paying more attention to that. After Moreno, we get Rodon, Kerry Carpenter, JT Realmuto. I am up, and I feel like this guy just falls in every draft, and nobody wants him. But it's Spencer Torkelson. Wanted to add more pop to this team, so I do that, getting Tork as my corner infielder. His career has been very up and down. I get it. It's 2 of the years have been great. One of them, he was down in the minors by May or June. But I mean, when he's going right, we're getting 30 home runs from Torkelson, and they need that pop in that lineup. There's not a lot of power in the Tigers lineup. So happy to take a shot on him around pick 200. After Torkelson, Luis Garcia Jr. of the Nationals, then Edward Cabrera. Edward Cabrera got blown up today, I saw. He was the one who Corbin Carroll hit the home run off of.
I think
a little nervous, Scott, about him wanting to throw that four-seam fastball more.
Exactly.
Getting rocked here. It's not great.
The Edward Cabrera truthers who believe in him, were pointing out that this is why he broke through last year. He finally figured it out. Sinkers, two-seamers is the way to go. Ditch that four-seamer. You can't locate it well enough, which is all fine and good in theory, but he has to keep following through on it. And he hasn't been this spring, the way he's talked this spring about wanting to mix in the four-seamer again. And then he's getting such bad results. I felt a little silly when I put him in my bust article because I thought the cost was actually pretty reasonable, but I was making a bottom-out case for Edward Cabrera. And I'm even more fearful that bottom-out case is going to come to pass.
All right, after Edward Cabrera, there was Brenton Doyle. That feels like a pretty good pick at 202. I like the bounce back for him. And Sam, we are back up in round 17.
So I think people need to move him up their draft boards. I mean, we're getting into the middle of March, but I love Brian Abreu as a late round closer. I think he's going to end up probably closing still a little bit, even with Hader when he comes back. He's just unreal in that bullpen, and watching him 18 times a year as a Mariners fan, he's just crazy. I love him.
Yeah, he is so good, man. Brian Abreu. We're starting to see some other closers go here as well. Sir Anthony Dominguez is
no three closers for me.
Yep. And Abreu likely to start as the Astros closer, and we'll see what happens with Hader, man. I mean, there's big upside for Abreu where if Hader suffers a setback, he could be the closer for a large majority of the season. And then, I mean, for where he's going, he could be like a league winner type. So interesting to follow along there with Brian Abreu. Into round 18, and we get Shane McClanahan at pick 205.
Here comes the money.
Yeah, I can't play it right now because I don't know how much money we're gonna get from Shane McClanahan this year.
I love that. Can you sing that again, Scott? That was beautiful.
Here comes the money.
Yeah.
Here comes the money.
Love it. Hyping it up.
I was pretty encouraged by the last start. I know the velocity was still down a couple miles per hour, but it's been ticking up a little with each start, and the changeup looks so good. And they are not equivocating at all when they talk about these starts after they seem thrilled with what Shane McClanahan is doing.
Oh, he's
Rays camp.
His velocity being back to where it is, the way that he looks, like I really feel like we're seeing Sugar Shane Mack again. I love it.
And your pick, Sam, was Ramon Laureano, someone who Scott likes as a sleeper this year. What are you expecting from Laureano?
Lots of playing time in a decent lineup, and he's just got high floor everywhere. He's going to give me batting average. He's going to give me speed. He's going to give me pop. He's going to give me counting stats, and taking him in the 18th round, I feel, is great.
All right. The next couple picks here, we got Jack Flaherty, Robert Garcia, and Sal Frelick. With Robert Garcia, we know Alexis Diaz was recently DFA'd, and so it appears that Garcia will be the first one to get an opportunity there to close for the Rangers. I need a fifth outfielder. I've kind of ignored this for a while now. And it feels like a pretty big fall for Dylan Cruz. So I'm going to go ahead and
love him.
Snag Dylan Cruz.
Love him.
Tell me about him.
I backed off a little bit, but at 210, Scott, I mean, that feels all right.
I don't know. It seems like you draft him. You take him every draft we do.
Dylan Cruz, look, for all the batting average has been bad so far in Dylan Cruz. And last year, his entire season was wrecked by injury. He's still like 15 homers, 25 steals in his career in like 130 games. So if he could get the batting average just up to like 240, which would be respectable. I think like a 15-25 or like 20-30 season is in the range of outcomes here for Dylan Cruz. So I'll take a shot at 210. Get some little power and speed.
Yeah, it's not a bad gamble. I just it's hard for me to muster any more optimism at this point. And I know he's very young, and of course the great pedigree former, was he the number 2 pick in his draft or number 3? He was very high.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
And I just haven't seen really any reason for optimism. And even in the minor leagues, he made it up quickly, but it's not like a Nick Kurtz situation or a Wyatt Langford where he just steamrolled the competition on his way. It was modest production down there. So I don't know.
After Dylan Cruz, we got Chandler Simpson, Garrett Cole, and Tyler Stevenson. So Scott will go to you in a second, but this is our Yankees part of the program where I've got to talk about Garrett Cole, who made his return, his spring training debut. He threw an inning. He allowed 2 hits. One was a bunt hit on the first pitch of the game. I kind of thought it was Bush League. Like Garrett Cole's first start back, you're bunting for a hit and you're making him run to go get the ball and cover the
base.
Felt
Yes.
a little Bush League, in my opinion. But
that does seem wrong.
Yeah. He averaged 97.1 miles per hour with his fastball, topped out at 98.7. Velocity was up on the curve and the slider. Look, he was amped up. It was only 10 pitches, so we've got to see if he can maintain that velocity. But, Scott, I thought it was an awesome first step for Garrett Cole.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I didn't see it, but it sounds like it. It's going to be a while.
I stood up to watch his start. My wife walked by. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's Garrett Cole's return. I've got to lock in. I've got to watch this."
That's right.
It sounds like he is on a good path, but it's going to be May and probably later May until he returns. So Blake Snell went a couple of picks later. I think I'd take him ahead of Cole. I would take Carlos Rodon ahead of Cole. Has Rodon gone yet?
Rodon is gone, and I agree with you. As someone who does not take Blake Snell, I would take Snell ahead of Garrett Cole as well. Yeah. And Scott, you said something in there. You said it's going to be May.
It's gonna be May.
That's right. So here we are. After we saw Garrett Cole go, Tyler Stevenson, Alec Boehm went to Scott. Then Max Muncy, some third basemen still available going there. Snell, and then into round 19, Jose Caballero, all the eligibility, tons of steals, especially early on. Brendan Donovan, and then Scott, over to you. Pick 19, round 19.
So I'm going to take Michael Burrows, one of the quickest rising pitchers this spring. It's a little early, but I got to risk it for the biscuit, and he's my top pitcher ranked. That's how far I've moved him up. But I want to say the Alec Boehm pick just a few picks ago.
Love it.
It was so clutch for my build. So clutch because batting average again, it's the offensive category that I felt like I needed the most. It is so hard to make up over the course of a draft, but my last couple of hitters, Gabriel Moreno and Alec Boehm, I think are obviously go a long way to helping me. Plus, I needed third base, and he was one of the last, I think, startable options there. The other one was Max Muncy, who went with the very next pick. I would have been fine with either, but for this specific build, Boehm made more sense.
All right, we're getting a little bit of a hype pitcher run because the next pick right after Burrows is Braxton Ashcraft, who turned in a great start either here on Wednesday or Tuesday, and he's had a good spring, and there's lots of smart people who like Braxton Ashcraft. Not me. I'm not one of the smart people. I'm one of the dumb people that likes Braxton Ashcraft. But then we got Logan Mohapi, Giancarlo Stanton goes off the board here, and I am back up. I am going to – I'm surprised he lasted this long.
Make it happen.
223. Yep. It is time for Kevin McGonigal.
I was just thinking.
Yes.
If I had known Kevin McGonigal would last this long, I probably wouldn't have taken Connor Griffin where I did.
Yeah. So Kevin McGonigal at 223, who has also had a great spring. That doesn't include a game that he had against the Dominican Republic, an exhibition where he went 3 for 3 and hit a first pitch home run against Luis Severino in that game. I think this might be crazy to say. I think there's a more likely chance Kevin McGonigal's on the opening day roster now than Connor Griffin is with the Pirates.
I agree 100%. I don't think it's weird to say at all. I think he's had a more eye-opening spring, has presented fewer concerns to his host team. It would be just less crazy on the surface. I mean, just the idea of Connor Griffin being the first 19-year-old on an opening day roster since Ken Griffey Jr. would make any organization think twice, I think.
Yeah.
And he hasn't blown the lid off this spring, and I feel like he probably needed to. Connor Griffin, I'm talking about, where every time McGonigal plays, he seems to do something that grabs a headline.
Yep. After McGonigal, we got Victor Scott, Elliot Ramos, Mark Vientos, and then Sam, you selected Abner Uribe. Is that that's your third reliever. Do you expect him to open up as the Brewers closer? Do you think it'll be a tandem to start? What do you see in the Brewers bullpen?
I think if I were to guess preseason, he's probably 40% of the saves, 60-40. But I like his underlying skill set a lot more. And I think that there's a good chance that he flips that script and ends up saving 60% of the games for Milwaukee this next year.
One thing with Trevor McGill, I just don't know if he could stay healthy too. He throws so hard. He had the arm injury last year. He's never thrown more than 47 innings in a season before. So that's part of the reason I've been kind of flag planting on Abner Uribe in the Brewers bullpen, just because it's just kind of a doubt of Trevor McGill staying healthy. So I think eventually Abner Uribe will just wind up being the closer for the Brewers. Might not be on opening day, but I think he will wind up with more saves this season than Trevor McGill. Justin Crawford is the final pick of round 19. And he's been running a little bit this spring. He has 3 steals. He's been solid. Seems like he will be the Phillies opening day center fielder. And
I wanted him. Just queued him up.
To round 20, where Ryan Weathers goes. Scott, I think we mentioned it yesterday, but with Rodon and Garrett Cole, I mean, all this good news is coming in on them. They'll be back sooner than later. Who gets bumped, right? Who gets bumped from the Yankees rotation when those guys are back? I mean,
Ryan Weathers will be hurt by then. Come on.
Yeah.
Yarbrough.
Yeah. Weathers will be hurt by then. Possibility. Luis Heel too. I mean, Luis Heel just feels like he would be a better reliever than a starter.
You're asking about a month or even 2 into the season. This feels very much like a life finds a way situation.
Do the Yankees ever have a healthy pitching staff for the whole season? Does that ever happen?
Does anybody these days?
Well, 2 years ago, the Mariners' 5 starters made every start for the whole year. I mean,
the Rays did pretty well last year too with that.
For the Rays especially.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sam, you selected here in round 20, Kyle Manzardo. What do you like about Manzardo?
Well, when he came to first pitch, a certain group of people got to interview Kyle Manzardo, and I got to sit in and watch that. Wasn't that you, Frank, that got to interview Kyle Manzardo?
No, that was actually, I think, Rates and Barrels. We got to, we interviewed James Triantos.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I sat in on that interview, and I'm just sold on that kid. And I think that this is the year he's going to hit 30 home runs. I think he's going to establish himself as the first baseman going forward for the Guardians. Like I'm in on him. And at this pick, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. I am up. I need a second catcher. I need a util bat. I need 2 more pitchers. I am scanning the pitchers now to see who's there. And you know what? I'll take the old vet. Had himself a nice WBC. Aaron Nola. Even year Nola, baby. Here we go. It's an even year. You know it's gonna be good. Hashtag analysis. Look, last year wrecked by the hamstring, but this spring his velocity has been up. I don't think he gets all the way back to the pitcher he was before, but a mid to high 3s ERA, 120-ish whip, pitches on a good team, should get a lot of chances at wins. As your SP6 in round 20, fine with it. Not a sexy pick, but fine with it.
Aaron Nola goes right after. Zach Gallen goes right after Aaron Nola. I feel like those two are
like tied at the hip, right, Scott?
Yeah, exactly. The old standbys who fell off quite a bit last year, but are both showing renewed velocity this spring. So maybe.
And the one I was debating was kind of the upside play, Kodai Senga, who goes 3 picks after I selected Aaron Nola. And
kind of in the same category, yeah.
His velocity has been way up this spring. We'll see if he can stay healthy. He always has issues with control and things like that. But, man, like 3 years ago, must-start pitcher. And then in 24, he's drafted as like a top 20 starting pitcher. So we'll see if he could tap back into that upside. Scott, you are up. Round 20.
And I don't know what I want to do. Let's see. I might I might just take Andrew Abbott here. I've got so many like high strikeout pitchers. Hopefully Abbott could just help to stabilize the ERA and WHIP as he has so far in his career. Always a kind of an enigma as a fly ball pitcher who pitches in a prolific home run park, sort of like Emilio Pagano was talking. I got a couple of those guys now, but weak contact. And obviously it's worked for Andrew Abbott so far. So I think it's fine to take him here. Mike Nelson in the chat said he thought I'd grab Joe Musgrove. A couple weeks ago, I would have. Was excited about Joe Musgrove, but coming back from Tommy John surgery, him having trouble bouncing back from starts and them surprisingly having to put him on the IL to start the year, I'm definitely concerned about how viable Musgrove is going to be this year.
Yep. So we got Andrew and Musgrove back to back, then Trent Grisham, and we are into round 21 where we got Mickey Moniak.
Love that pick.
What do you love about it?
I'm not usually big on Colorado Rocky players, but he just seems to have that it factor in Colorado. I think that it's really hard for players to adjust playing in elevation and not all the time. I think that they screw with their prospects a lot. Pardon my French.
Screw is fine.
Okay. I don't trust that organization at all, but Mickey Moniak, since he's gone over there, is just like, he's just too dumb to care. Like, he's not dumb. I don't mean to say that, but like, he's just going out there living his best life. So I'm excited for him this year. I've heard some of the hype on him and I'm all in.
I think specifically in a Roto league with 5 outfielders where, if you just set it and forget it and like look up at the end of the season, it could be 25 homers, 10 steals, something like that. I think if you play in a daily lineup league, that is the perfect format to draft Mickey Moniak. Because, man, you play him
all Rockies
in Coors Field against right-handed pitching. That is going to work out very well for you with Mickey Moniak. After he goes, we got a little bit of an outfielder run here. The last 4 picks: Grisham, Moniak, Evan Carter, and Carson Bench, who you selected, Scott, who I'm starting to think is going to be the opening day right fielder for the Mets.
Yeah, the problem with that is that they brought in Mike Tauchman, on a minor league deal, I think, and he can opt out on March 25th if he hasn't made I think it's March 25th. They got to make a decision with him. He's always been an underrated player, great on base skills, so they might want to keep Tauchman around. I saw one Mets beat writer the other day saying, well, why not both? The old El Paso meme, why not both? I think that makes a lot of sense. Benches look good this spring. Basically, I had 1 pitcher spot available and about 8 different pitchers that I wanted to fill it. And so it's like, well, I rank all those pitchers higher, but I have these 2 outfield spots. And I think Carson Bench by far meets my team's needs the best. Potential batting average standout there. So I went ahead and took him, and hopefully he makes the roster. If he doesn't, then I'll have to fall back on somebody else.
After Jordan Beck, we got Miguel Andujar, Bryce Eldridge, Munetaka Murakami went to me, then Bo Naylor and Tanner Bybee. I have not drafted Murakami at all this offseason. I have a little bit of FOMO with Murakami, like just in case it happens and everything clicks here. But at 247, he's way past ADP. If it doesn't work, he's my utility bat. Drop him for someone who has the right matchups or gets off to a hot start this season, who could be a breakout type. But Murakami himself could be a breakout. So, I'll take a shot on that power upside this late in the draft with Murakami.
Was he at the World Baseball Classic?
I believe he was.
I can't remember if he wanted to stick around in White Sox camp or not. Look, my gut tells me that's going to be a wasted pick. Obviously, wasting a pick in the 240 range is not unusual. I think most of these picks will turn out to be wasted in some way or another.
Yep.
But I cannot. I understand he was a star in Japan and the power is huge. If as much as he struggled to make contact over there, I think it's going to be. I think that it's going to be untenable against major league pitchers, how much he's swinging and missing on pitches in the zone, especially.
Yeah, he did play for Team Japan. He went 4 for 21 with a homer, 2 walks to 5 strikeouts there for Murakami. Did want to pull up his just his Fangraphs page real quick to see what his strikeout rate has been so far in spring.
It's 5 strikeouts and 17 plate appearances, so less than 33%.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a small sample just because he's at the WBC, so we don't have much data on it. After Murakami, Bo Naylor, Tanner Bybee, Jacob Lopez. All right, Lopez rising up draft boards. Owen Casey went to Sam, and then Luis Arise, who is our resident batting average help this late in the draft. Sam, what are you seeing here with Owen Casey? Should have a real opportunity with the Marlins.
Spring training hype. I liked him as a Cubs prospect, but he seems to be able to get run in Miami. And I know it's a pitcher's park, but I have a feeling he's going to play 140 plus games this season for them. I don't think he's going to platoon. I'm excited for him to have a breakout season this season. He's somebody I'm excited about.
This last pick, I want to quickly talk about Matt Swanson, first pick of round 22. I tweeted this out earlier today. The Cardinals bullpen usage, mind you, a spring game, but I mean, it could be what they go to on opening day based on the way it laid out. But they had a 1-run lead going to the 6th inning. They used Ryan Stanek. He gave up a run. Jojo Romero came in the 7th with the game tied. Matt Swanson pitched in the 8th with the game tied. Cardinals took a 3-run lead in the top of the 9th. Matt Swanson came back out for the bottom of the 9th. So no Riley O'Brien. I didn't see any reports about like if he was available or if he was warming up in this game, but
I mean, it's pre-scheduled spring games who pitches. Yeah. And Swanson did work 2 innings at a time fairly often as a rookie last year. So I don't know. It's been the last couple drafts we've done. I feel like we've seen Swanson go ahead of Riley O'Brien. I don't know if Riley O'Brien's going to go at all in this draft. I think he's better, but O'Brien was pretty good last year too. And he and Jojo Romero split saves almost 50-50 after Ryan Helsley was traded. He was slowed early this spring, but I think it was a back issue. Riley O'Brien was. And so maybe like it's hard to read anything into relief pitcher usage in spring. I think it's pretty close to meaningless as a matter of fact, but we have seen Swanson's name floated as part of the closer committee when that wasn't true.
Yep.
At the end of last season.
Yeah, and I think there's a huge difference between the jumble that we're dealing with in St. Louis, for example, than the jumble we're dealing with in Milwaukee. I want nothing to do with St. Louis bullpen arms before the season. Like I'm real nervous about choosing the guy that's going to get even 30% of the save opportunities because that could be a 3-headed monster.
Mm-hmm. After Swanson, we got Shane Baz, who went to Sam, then Matt Wallner, Grayson Rodriguez, Moises Ballesteros. I selected Kyle Teal here, who I know has a hamstring injury. He's going to miss the first 2 to 4 weeks of the season. I would imagine it could be the whole first month. If we were playing this league out, I would probably just pick Edgar Caro in the reserve rounds and have him fill in for Kyle Teal while he's out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, to get Kyle Teal like a week ago, he was probably going like 100 picks higher than this, like 160. Now I'm getting him at 258. He's going to miss a month. I get that, but it's, whatever. You can fill that in the meantime. So Scott, you good? In round 22?
Well, as I said, when I made my last pick, going ahead and taking Carson Binge, because there was about 8 starting pitchers I was deciding between. I think they've all gone now. So
the latest being Shane Smith.
Yeah, Shane Smith was on that list. Grayson Rodriguez, Shane Baz, Jacob Lopez, Tanner Bybee. One after another, They went here.
Yep. Well, let's go back to Sam for a second while you make your picks, Scott, and figure that out. Sam, you took Shane Baz. Gets traded from the Rays to the Orioles this offseason. I'm just kind of higher, I guess, or more excited about Rays pitchers going back into the Trop. So I was a little bit bummed to see Shane Baz get traded over to the Orioles, but maybe it's a good thing. Do you like it? The move from Tampa Bay to Baltimore.
I do. Nobody beats the Baz. Nobody beats the Baz. Shane Baz is going to an organization that's going to actually let him pitch. And if his arm doesn't fall off, I know I've said that earlier, but if he's allowed to pitch, I love his skill set. I think he's finally going to pitch 150 to 170 innings. And this late in the draft, like he could be their SP2, SP3 if everything works out. I love that value.
All right. After we left off with Parker Messick, Scott, you selected Ryan Nelson, then Kate Holly, Marcus
dirty.
Nixon, Dylan Dingler, Ryan Jeffers, and Scott, you're back up for your last pick.
I love that Ryan Nelson pick, by the way. It was either him or Shane Boz that I was debating, and I went with the Boz.
It's probably a better fit for my team because I think whip is the pitching category I'm most concerned about. And Nelson had a 107 whip last year, 103 whip in the second half of the year before, which is kind of where he turned the corner to become a useful fantasy option. So he does appear to be a legit whip standout, does Ryan Nelson. My last spot to fill is outfield. It's between Josh Lowe, who just had a big game with a home run and a stolen base coming back from injury, or Chase DeLauder, who I think
Scott,
is...
You know what to do. It's Josh Lowe, baby.
All right, I'll take it for you, Frank. I'll take it for you.
That is love.
So much time addressing...
That is love.
I spent so much time addressing batting average, which I think DeLauder would help with, that I'm concerned I need a few more steals here. So it was a close call between those two. And actually, my gut was leaning more DeLauder because when in doubt, I chased the upside late. But, Lowe's an upside case himself, right? Based on what he did 2 years ago, going to a great hitter's park with the Angels. And like I said, just had a huge game, sock and a shoe, hit a couple balls really hard. So Josh Lowe is the pick.
Sock and a shoe. I think that's the first time we've said that this spring. Let's go.
Let's keep it going.
Baseball is happening. It's going to happen.
You know what's crazy? Right now,
He's
we
kidding.
are a week away from baseball actually happening. Like opening night, Yankees, Giants, 1 week from right now on Wednesday. How about that?
That is the best news I've heard all day.
It's flown by, man. I know this is the earliest opening day in history, right? So that's part of it. Is just like we had to ramp up like about a week sooner than we're used to. It kind of caught us by surprise then too. But it's crazy that I've already this is our last mock draft. We're doing the podcast drafts next week. One of them will be on the air, but that'll be a legit league. True, pure mock draft. This is the last one I'm doing.
Yeah. How about that? We are head-to-head points listener league mock draft, not mock draft, real draft, listener league draft will be on Monday night, and we will be live streaming that one. So that will be the last streamed draft that we do here on the channel before the season starts. But yeah, last mock, look at us. Last round. How about this? This draft has flown by. Scott, you selected Josh Lowe. Then we got Robert Suarez, Max Meyer, Jason Dominguez. I took Riley O'Brien. Sorry, Sam. I know Cardinals reliever, but as my third reliever, I'll take a shot here and see what happens in that bullpen. Ryan Weiss of the Astros, Roki Sasaki, Noah Cameron, and Sam, we're up to you for your last pick.
So I'm debating between two pitchers. I already know who I'm going to take, but I'm curious if I were to ask you two, Molly or Arrighetti.
Oh, Mally. I don't think Arrighetti has a job.
He could be if it's a six-man, but I would take Mally. I like him pitching those home starts in San Francisco.
Exactly right. I was just looking at your guys' expert projections on things, and Arrighetti's got nice projections if he does start. And I think that he will find his way into probably 20 to 25 starts this year for Houston.
Sure.
But I'm so excited to see Mally pitch for the San Francisco Giants. It's just going to be sweet.
Yep. And then Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the draft, Carlos Correa. All right, here we go. This is probably the fastest we've ever finished a mock draft here on the podcast side of any mock draft that we've done.
True degenerates.
Pretty good.
I can scoop up Chase DeLauder off the waiver wire because he wasn't taking it all.
And
That's
Scott,
right.
We were talking earlier about like Connor Griffin not making the team. Look at the middle infielders that didn't get drafted here. Ezekiel Tovar, Xander Bogaerts, Otto Lopez, Gleyber Torres. Like, this is great.
I can make do with any of them, sure.
Or they could have been like one of your reserve players, but yeah.
Great. Yeah, right. I mean, in reality, a draft probably wouldn't end here. You'd have a bench of some size. But yeah, I would have filled one of those spots with one of those guys.
And if this was a deeper league, somebody that I've been targeting in all my 15 team drafts has been Cole Young with the Mariners. He has just been on fire. And I think he is going to take ownership of that second base position and play 140 games in that lineup. I'm real excited. So for all you people that don't know me, I would tell you Cole Young is one of my favorite after round 23, 24 picks in a 15-team league. And if we were picking reserves, he'd probably be my last pick in this league. But
I love that call out too. We did our deep sleepers episode the other day, Sam, and we probably rattled off over 50 sleepers throughout the course of the show. And Cole Young was one of them. So happy you brought that name up there. Let's wrap up looking at our teams. And Sam, we'll look at your team first. You were drafting 11th in this one. And your catchers, you've got Salvador Perez and Francisco Alvarez, followed by Tyler Soderstrom, Nico Horner, Michael Garcia, Zach Neto, Brandon Lau, Kyle Manzardo. Then in the outfield, you have Ramon Laureano, Stephen Kwan, Corbin Carroll, Andy Pajes, James Wood, and Owen Casey. So we'll stop there on the hitting side of things. How do you feel about this offense?
I don't have projections up on it, so I don't know exactly what these guys are going to do, but I think I have a pretty well-rounded team. I like my power, I like my speed, and I like my batting average. I think counting stats are a little bit harder. They're team dependent and lineup dependent and a whole bunch of things, but I've got players from KC who I like. I've got the Mets who I like. I've got the Athletics. The only player I'm really kind of, the two players I'm really kind of iffy on are Zach Neto and Brandon Lowe, just because that's my own bias against those players. But it was fun to take them and build off of that.
It does feel like a pretty well-balanced just offense up and down. I mean, you've got power and speed. You address some batting average with like Michael Garcia, and Stephen Kwan should help out there.
Nico Horner. Yeah, I was worrying about batting average as I was just glancing at it, but then I saw those three, and it's like, well, yeah,
Laureano.
It's a good balance.
Yeah, Horner too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. I like that. On the pitching side of things, you selected Garrett Crochet in the first round here, or second round, and then you got Kevin Gausman as your SP2. You have Chris Bubich, Ronher Suarez. You have Tyler Malley, Shane Baz. Those are your starters. Then your relievers, you have Mason Miller, Brian Abreu, Abner Uribe. What do you normally, Sam, when you take Garrett Crochet, do you normally wait this long to grab your SP2 with someone like Kevin Gausman?
I haven't grabbed Garrett Crochet all season long. And once I took him, I realized I had a pretty good foundation, and I needed to pick up hitters. There's so many good hitters in those first 5 rounds that it's really hard to pivot off of them. And so I like my pitching. And if we played this league out, I don't think my saves would be as bad. We'd have an opportunity for the waiver wire fab. So, and I like the shots that I took. I'm a big fan of Abreu and Uribe. So those are just my guys.
Nice. Yeah. It feels really good up and down at pick 11 here for your team. Let's slide over to my team. I was drafting from pick 7, and I've got Agustin Ramirez and Kyle Teel at catcher, followed by Josh Naylor, Matt McClain, Royce Lewis, CJ Abrams, Kevin McGonigal, Spencer Torkelson. Then in the outfield, Kyle Tucker. I have Jackson Churio, Taylor Ward, Michael Harris, Dylan Cruz, and then Munetaka Murakami as my utility hitter. It feels like a weird offense. It's not really one that I wind up with often. I wonder if I have enough batting average kind of insulated in early for some of the names I took later on. But, then you read off the outfield, and the outfield's really good. I don't know, Scott. What do you think of it?
Did you go pitching heavy too?
I took Christopher Sanchez in round 3. I took Kirby in round 6, I think.
Not that heavy.
Your pitching is beautiful, by the way. I love your staff, Frank.
If Scott is asking if I went pitching heavy, that means he does not like my offense.
It's just like, it just seems like, and we talked in the middle of the draft how you already had 4 outfielders when it was half over. And so we knew your infield was going to look pretty weak. And look, there's definitely an upside case for Matt McClain and Kevin McGonigal and Spencer Torkelson, Munetaka Murakami. But it just, there feels like fewer sure things among your hitters than for, I think, the typical 12-team Roto team. And so that makes me a little nervous. I mean, if maybe you have dominant pitching, I don't know. We haven't gone over that yet.
Instead of McLean and McGonigal, I would have much rather had Gleyber Torres and Jorge Polanco. I just love the floors that they bring. McGonigal could be a lot of fun, but I'm so nervous about drafting rookies. I'm always just a little nervous because I've had such a prospect bias.
At the same time, it's hard to call Jorge Polanco, especially a sure thing. I like him in theory, but he spent most of the last 4 years injured.
Yeah. You know what? I think that goes back to like earlier in the draft. I kept saying like, man, I just want to keep drafting pitching. And I think I in the middle rounds, I probably wound up taking too much pitching and not enough hitting here. But I don't know. Let's see how the pitching turned out. I selected Christopher Sanchez in round 3. I got George Kirby as my SP2. I've got Emmett Sheehan as my 3, Ryan Pepio as my 4, Shota Imanaga as my 5, Aaron Nola as my 6. And then my closers, I've got David Bednar, Griffin Jacks, and Riley O'Brien. So I love this pitching staff. I don't know about you guys. But...
No, I love it. I told you I don't like O'Brien, but that Jacks pick really upset me. That I would have rather had him than Abreu. I view those as two just high volume, high strikeout pitchers that can really do things. Jacks is just has a better path to saves.
Yeah.
I like it, but I know you're higher on both Emmett Sheehan and Ryan Pepio than I am. So right. I look at your team. Imanaga, I think, was your 5th one taken, and for me, he'd be my 3rd one of this group.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the thing. Like I usually get Imanaga as probably my SP4 in drafts, but it was at a point where I like the pitching more. So I mean, that's a good lesson to take away and say, maybe I didn't need like Kirby where I took him or Sheehan where I took him, and I could have had a more proven hitter, and then Imanaga would have been my SP4 instead of my SP5. So it's a good lesson to take away there. And Scott, we will wrap up taking a look at your squad. You were drafting 3rd in this one, and looking at your hitters, you've got Gabriel Moreno and Sam Basayo, Nick Kurtz, Luke Keeschel, Alec Boehm, Bobby Witt, Connor Griffin, Jonathan Aranda. And then in the outfield, you have Randy Arozarena, George Springer, Ian Happ, Carson Benj, Josh Lowe, and your utility is Kyle Schwarber. It's a pretty awesome lineup.
It's not bad. It's just high floor. I mean, Connor Griffin obviously has got some fun to him. Luke Keeschel, we've only gotten a half season out of him. Carson Benj. Mm-hmm. But I love your floor. I love Kurtz coming into this year. I'm a big fan of Baum. Bobby Witt is a great anchor for that lineup. The double dip that you did on catchers, I love your 2 catchers that you were able to pick. Like I'm interested to see steals. I'd like to see your steals.
That was the one thing I was thinking of. I mean, even though you got Bobby Witt, is maybe you ignored it a little bit too much throughout the course of the draft.
So I got Witt, Arozarena, Keeschel. George Springer should give me 15 to 20. Connor Griffin, if he is on the roster for a while, it'll be a ton of steals from him, but that's a big if. Right. And Josh Lowe, he's got to stay healthy. I think there's enough. Do you think there's? I think I ended up with enough batting average too. Maybe I don't know. Some of my obviously Witt's a great source of batting average, so that made the Schwarber and Arozarena picks easier to swallow.
Yeah. So you have Schwarber, Arozarena, and Kurtz, all guys that could, not necessarily will, but could hit like under 250 this season. But
yeah, Kurtz is kind of a wild card with that since he hit over 290 as a rookie, but I understand with the strikeouts why that's.
But you balance it out because like Bobby Witt is a great batting average. Keeschel, we expect to hit like 270 plus. Boehm will hit 270 plus.
Aranda and Gabriel Moreno.
Aranda could hit 280 plus. So I think you balance out the batting average pretty well. Yep. Yeah, on the pitching side of things, you have Cole Reagans. I didn't get to play this earlier. Cole Reagans, you got Max Fried, Dylan Cease. You have, let's see.
All those Cincy pitchers.
Yeah, Andrew Abbott. You've got Mike
Chase Burns is my 4th.
Chase Burns. There you go. He's on the bottom. So Burns is your 4. Then Abbott is your 5. Burrows is your 6. Nelson is your 7. That's pretty good. and then Hoffman and Pagan as your 2 closers. So you're playing the wire for a third, but these are more pitchers than you usually wind up with, Scott.
I know. It's kind of crazy that 2 of my first 5 picks and I think 3 of my first 7 with cease in round 7 were pitchers. I mean, don't usually do that, but I feel like my lineup came together well considering. Honestly, getting Schwarber in round 3 was a big advantage for me. Like, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I think that made it a lot easier to go pitcher with my next 2 picks.
You know what, Scott? I think this might be some of your best work of the offseason. So
Okay.
saving the best for last.
Can
How
we
about
play
that?
it out? Can we play this league out?
You don't have to tell anybody else, Scott. You could just play it out and not tell anybody.
It is always funny with these mock drafts, particularly when we invite some listeners to join in with us. Like, they're mock drafts. We make that clear from the beginning, but then over the course of the season, you get those emails. So-and-so made an ad in this mock draft league that nobody else is paying attention to.
Yep.
Like, all right.
So lots of fun here. Again, this was our live 12-team Roto mock draft. Big thanks again to Sam Wirsching joining us here on the show. Make sure to give him a follow on X at Fave Game Show Host and on Blue Sky at Sam FBB1. He's a contributor over at the Palazzo Podcast and Dynasty Guru. Sam, anything else that you've got going on right now that you'd like to promote before we get out of here?
Well, I've got something that we're going to be hopefully launching this season with a different platform, but I'm not quite ready to talk about it. I just wanted to give the March pitch for everybody listening to First Pitch Arizona next November. Scott, we need to see you in person in Arizona. It is, if you play fantasy baseball, you get to go to a place where there's 400 other people that all want to look at your rosters, talk to you about players. It's the inclusivity, the friendliness, you walk up. I didn't know Frank 4 years ago. Frank and I got dinner at a breakfast at a place called the Hen House. And you literally, you make friends. Like Frank, I was in New York this year, and 4 years later, like Frank and I I consider Frank to be a friend of mine. Like, I would do things for that guy. Like, I love him. So if you are here watching us, come and talk to us in November in Arizona. Make the trip, make the time. Come see us. That is, I'm now, all my thoughts are thinking about November and what we're going to be doing out there. So,
Sam, hopefully celebrating either a Yankees or a Mariners World Series. I think
one of those two would be just fine. One of those two would be just fine.
Well, everybody else there would love if it was one of those teams, not necessarily the Yankees. If it's the Mariners, I think everyone else would enjoy it. If it's the Yankees, probably not so much.
I don't know. It's been 18 years, right?
No, people still hate the Yankees, dude.
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
Way. Absolutely. You know what, Sam? I am happy you brought that up because Chris and I try to tell Scott all the time, like, Scott, everywhere we go, people ask about Scott. I don't think he believes us, but it really does happen.
Scott, I'm personally requesting, as somebody you don't know and don't have to listen to a thing I say, I would love to see you, shake your hand, buy you a soda or a beer. I don't know what you drink. I don't care. I'd love to just see you in person and chat with you. And that goes to all the listeners. Like, come on up.
I appreciate the invite. I'm sure you could appreciate as a family man yourself that it can be hard to get away. You know, my wife works full time
100%.
too, so, but the harder people push, the more I'll have to get. I'm a homebody by nature, an introvert by nature, but I'm sure many of you are too. So at some point, maybe this year, I'll have to make my way out there.
Yeah,
I'll be your safety blanket. If you are like, hey, it's too much, I got you. I got you, Scott.
I appreciate it.
Once we get Scott White out by the pool at 3 a.m. by first pitch, he won't be an introvert anymore, I'll tell you that. We are going to wrap there for Scott and Sam. I am Frank. Thanks as always for tuning into Fantasy Baseball today. Please make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify, and we will be back again tomorrow.
Peace and love.
Bye.